Hey everybody. Today I want to talk to you about conversations. There are actually a couple of different kinds of conversations that we can have. We can have conversations with people, but we can also have conversations internally. And if you're like me, sometimes I have these conversations that are not really with anybody, but they're external. It's kind of when I'm talking to myself. But some of the most important conversations we actually have are the internal ones. Those are the ones that we are telling ourselves things. We are convincing ourselves of things. We're talking ourselves out of things. So I wanted to talk today about our self-talk, what we say internally, because that's really important. Because we talk to ourselves internally. Other people might not hear what we're saying, but we know what we're thinking and we know what we're telling ourselves. And so many times it's negative. And I know you've heard a lot of counselors and people, basically telling people, be careful what you say to yourself. And it is so true. And it is also true when it comes to spiritual things. And that is because we tend to believe whatever we tell ourselves. So, for instance, how many of you have ever had something happen? Maybe, I don't know, your eye starts hurting and you're like, ooh, what could that be? And so then all of a sudden you're going over to the internet and you're looking at WebMD and the Mayo Clinic and all these other things and saying, what could this be? And that's, usually it's nothing. But we do need to remember that the self-talk that we participate in internally is pretty important to what we believe and how we act and the kinds of things that end up being really important in our lives. So I wanted to talk just for a second about Jude 1:20. And I'm going to actually use this out of the Passion. I like the Passion translation a lot. And and this comes in the context of talking to people who have been creating some problems and divisions in the church. And he says, but you, my delightfully loved friends, constantly and progressively build yourselves up on the foundation of your most holy faith by praying every moment in the Spirit. And so what he's saying here is to build yourself up internally instead of tearing yourself down. And we tear ourselves down when we say really negative things to ourselves, when we say things that don't reflect how God feels about us or the plans he has for us, or even who we are in him. And we need to be very positive about the things that we say. And I'm not saying, positive vibes or whatever. Not that. It's true. I mean, he says here, build yourselves up on the foundation of your most holy faith by praying in the Spirit. And so we need to make sure that we are talking to ourselves and building ourselves up instead of tearing ourselves down. So maybe you didn't do what you were supposed to, and maybe you feel guilty about that. Just go tell God, I'm sorry, I messed up. I didn't do this, and he's going to forgive you, and it's going to be okay. Don't have this internal dialogue going the whole time saying, oh, God's so angry with me, he's never going to be good, he's never going to forgive me. That's absolutely bogus. We know that he forgives us when we come and repent. We just say, I'm sorry, I did this, or I didn't do this, and he'll forgive us. What is so self-defeating is when we beat ourselves up internally about it. And that is not how we're supposed to act, and that will not help us at all in our walk with God. So, constantly and progressively build yourselves up on the foundation of your most holy faith. Don't indulge self-talk that is so negative that it really comes and hurts you. Try to be positive. And I'm not really saying, hey, positivity is the cure for everything, because it's not. We know that's not true. But what is true is that God has given us faith, and he has given us power, and he has given us the ability to take his word and live off of it. And we can use that in our self-talk. We can say, you know what? I have Jesus in me. And There is nothing that can separate me from the love of God. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And this is who I am. He tells me who I am in the Bible. And those are the kinds of things that I need to be saying internally instead of things that are far less productive. So this week, try to focus on some positive self-talk, the talk that reflects who God says we are and who our identity is in Jesus. So, bye-bye.